Hello everybody, Two Gun Ardo here with another baking stream. Today our plan is to do soft pretzels like the ones that you can buy at the mall, which sadly we don't have one within 80 miles. So it's actually probably further now that I've moved out of town. I've got my recipe posted up here on the fridge. So I'll be coming back over here periodically. I've got my little handy arm over there. So my main work area today is going to be this counter over here, which is just out of frame. So I'll be sure to get the phone moved over there when we really start getting into this. So this is going to be a bit of a process, because I've never done, I shouldn't say I've never done, it's been a long time since I've messed with dough, and bread dough more specifically. So kneading and that sort of thing is going to be a bit of a chore. So knead till smooth, dough, blah blah blah. I guess I can go ahead and start doing some of the stuff that I need to do here. So first and foremost, actually I should have preheated the oven. I didn't even do that. Bake. So now I have to wait for my oven to heat up quick. I'm already off to a fantastic start. So I'm just gonna stand here and monologue until that actually kicks in. What I need to do is I have to put baking soda and bake that at 250 degrees for about an hour. So I already went and preemptively put aluminum foil on my cooking sheet here. What I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to put that evenly on here and then set it in the oven to bake for an hour. I could start putting that on there quick and then we just wait for it to heat up, because right now the oven's at 100 degrees, so it's slowly making its way to where we need it to be to bake that. So actually, probably ought to just do that now. Get the camera moved over there and we'll get started. So I've already gone and made chocolate chip cookies today, because today is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. So, got everything set over here. I need my baking soda, of which 2/3 cups. So, put my measuring cup out here. 2/3. I should have plenty of baking soda for this. I know I probably ought to have like pre-measured everything, but I feel like it's more fun and engaging just to kind of like go at it slowly. I think my washing machine just finished, so we'll kind of go from there. I don't remember which website I got this recipe off of, but the lady on the website mentioned she had worked at a pretzel place at the mall for years and was trying to recreate that recipe herself, or as close as she could get. What a painstaking process this is. Turned out to be. We're not even at 1/3 of a cup yet, so this is taking just a minute. I'm going to end up using a vast majority of my baking soda today. So I hope everybody's doing all right. Apologies on the late start. I just kind of I lost track of time, and I had some visitors over here at the house. My folks stopped by to kind of help me get a few things taken care of, and some issues with the freezer here. Alright, so optimally, we evenly spread this out on the sheet. Right? Right. So, preheat oven, line baking sheet with foil, evenly sprinkle baking soda over sheet, and bake for 1 hour. Alright, I'd say that was pretty even. I think we're doing just fine. So, I'm going to get my little spoon here, the measuring cup all rinsed out. We can start on the next process here. So the next step, once we get this heated up, is to pour 1 cup warm water into a large bowl, whisking in 2 tablespoons granulated sugar until dissolved. So we're going to get this moved over to my other counter here. Bear with me. I wish I had more it's a mess. We don't want that. We wanted it focused more on the counter. So, got my large bowl, yeast, flour, and my granulated sugar. So, I need a cup of warm water. That's a 1.25 cups. I don't need that much. Okay. Here's my cup of water. I get my tablespoon here. Is it tablespoon or teaspoon? 2 tablespoons. Oh, one other thing I forgot to do here. I need 2 tablespoons of butter. And I've kind of just let this sit out so it was softer. We'll continue to use this here after a bit. Rinse off my knife quick. Wash my hands. Okay, so the oven's preheated to 250 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and put the baking soda in the oven, and we're going to get the timer started for an hour to keep that moving. So, oh, I don't want to do that. Wait a minute. timer. Let's see if it says an hour or 60 minutes. 1 hour. Okay, perfect. So the timer is started for the baking soda. We're going to need that later on here. So now we need 2 tablespoons granulated sugar. We can put this away. Set this off here to the side. I'm going to go ahead and nuke my butter once I get everything out of my way. I got all these cookies that I made this morning that I really ought not to have done right away. I've got no place to put my lunchbox, so I'm just going to set it in here for the time being, and I'll get at that here shortly. I'm still carrying around the butter like a dolt. Alright, so I know for a fact that 45 seconds will... It's disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. "45 seconds will melt butter." I know this for a fact. So, alright, now we got our sugar water done there. Sprinkle in yeast and let sit for 5 minutes. So, we're going to go ahead and add our living organism. So I can find my shears. Alright. I gotta put this entire packet in here. Go on, little fellas. Eat that sugar. Poor connection. I don't get that. I don't get it at all. Alright, so I just gotta let this sit for 5 minutes. And then we can start working on the next part there. Once it's done, we stir in the salt and the melted butter. So we gotta do the kosher salt. Now I haven't even opened my kosher salt just yet. And sadly, I don't have any pretzel salt. That's the one thing I forgot to buy. Okay. Yo! Bro. Alright. So, we're going to go from there. Since we just had water in there. And our butter's done. 2 tablespoons of melted butter. And tell you what, I probably ought to just put the salt into the butter. How much salt do I need? A teaspoon of kosher salt. So I'm going to grab my measuring spoon. Alright, I might actually just use this salt for the coating of the pretzels here once they're done. So, you know what sucks is I wasn't keeping track of time for 5 minutes on the yeast. So sprinkle in yeast, let set 5 minutes, stir in salt, melted butter. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set down some parchment paper now that I've thought about it. I don't know if it's been quite 5 minutes or not. Probably not. So I'll wait just a couple more before I add the salt and the what's the word I'm looking for? I'm at a loss for words there. I'm dumb. Sugar. Let's sit for 5 minutes, stir in salt, melted butter, add flour slowly until dough forms and loses most stickiness. Knead till smooth. 10 minutes. Lift from bowl. Oil bowl with vegetable oil, place back into bowl and cover with plastic. Let sit for 45 minutes to an hour. Alright. Let's see here. That's starting to come alive. That's quite cool to watch, honestly. I don't know if y'all want to see or not. If you can see. I'm going to wash my hands here really quick. I'll move my towels someplace where they're not going to be in the way here. I'll let that sit for just a minute or two more. Or not, hang on. So I went ahead and I added the butter and the salt to our bowl of yeast, sugar, and water. I went ahead and I stirred it up. Set this off to the side here, give it a good rinse. We'll come back to that, wash him out later. So next step is to add our flour. So we got to do 3 cups of flour. We're going to do them 1 cup at a time. Get my fork out of here. Set this off to the side. I don't know if I'm supposed to be stirring this into it or not. Probably should have been using a mixer. You know, I don't know if I'm doing this right or not, to be completely honest with you. We'll see. I need to figure something out here. I'm gonna get hands on here quick. Can't tell if that's how that's supposed to be or not. This is most definitely not turning out correct. I feel like I may have screwed the pooch on this one. Let's see here. No, this is turning out okay. I mean, obviously I shouldn't be doing this on parchment paper, I don't think. Sprinkle in, knead until smooth. It's not quite smooth, so this whole process of kneading and turning, if my research is correct, should take roughly 10 minutes. To get it smooth. Oh, and I should be throwing a little bit of flour on it too, I guess. A bit of flour on the workstation. Oh yeah, no, that makes it so much easier. Poor dumb old two-gun. I was doing things the hard way. This guy. Cleaned out real quick. Get that all done. Now, once that's nice and smooth, well, I guess maybe I wasn't supposed to knead it like that just yet, was I? No, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and spray the inside of the bowl with some vegetable shortening. Put my dough back in there, cover it up. I'm going to let that rise. About 45 minutes. So this is going to be one of those times, and we're going to have several, where we'll just kind of step back and take a look as to what we got going on. I hate saran wrap. Okay, there's that now. Pull up skirt. What skirt? Cosmic Rubio, how are you doing today? What's the rectangle blocking the screen? What rectangle? Oh. What have I got going on here? Orientation editor. Chat box. Yeah. I thought these would be neat. Let me just get rid of those. Did that work? Is there still crap blocking the screen, or is it come back? It's gone. Okay, I was trying to keep like some alert boxes and stuff going. So I've got most of what I've going on here. I wanted to have like alert boxes on there just to kind of see, you know, when some stuff goes, because I know I have that set up on OBS on my desktop, but my mobile phone is kind of crappy for that. So if you're just tuning in, the whole idea, we're making soft pretzels based off of a recipe that I looked up. Somebody who worked at like Auntie Anne's or something like that had posted. So I have my baking soda in the oven right now. I'm supposed to bake it at 250 degrees for an hour. And I've got my dough set here to rise, which takes about 45 minutes. Should take about 45 minutes. I think I might have put too much flour on it. But once we've got that all done, once it's risen and I've gotten the baking soda out of the oven, I can go ahead and adjust that over so that I can start. That's the word I'm looking for. I can start to make my pretzels. I know, and I made that shot. Nice. I wish I could send everybody something, because I don't know if you know, Cosmic Rubio, today is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. So in honor of Chocolate Chip Cookie Day, I made chocolate chip cookies. Tons. So I'm intending to take one of these with me to work. I forgot which one's which. So they all turned out significantly better than this last batch. These poor guys, I left in there just a little bit long, so they ended up a little bit on the drier side. But I think they're still pretty damn awesome. I've had nothing but compliments from the few people that were over here earlier. These should be something I should be able to send people, honestly. I had a buddy of mine who's like, at least, if only you could send them to Canada. And I was like, I might be able to. I didn't even know that that day existed. Well, I tell you what, I didn't either. I had a buddy of mine pointed out to me, what was it, Monday last week, he said, it's National Lasagna Day. So I sat there and I wondered, is there a national food for every day? And I Googled that question, and I found out that there is. Send them to Texas. That shouldn't be too bad. I mean, I made those all from scratch using a different recipe than the last time I made chocolate chip cookies on stream. But I think they still turned out pretty good. I learned a thing or two. Alice would be proud because I used parchment paper. So on my Discord, I posted those pictures of them sitting out cooling. I posted them on social media, on Twitter. I'm on Twitter quite a bit. Not quite a bit, so periodically, just to kind of update when I'm going live and to keep tabs on everybody. All right, you can go ahead and I'll be here, Cosmic Guru. I got a long time to go, and I should have started a timer for that. So I'm going to go ahead and step into the other room for just half a second. I'm going to ask Google to set me a timer. I'll be right back. Hey Google, set a timer for 45 minutes. Hey Google, increase volume 25%. Okay, so now that my timer is set, we are just kind of waiting for the dough to rise, for the baking soda to finish. Once the dough has risen, I'll go ahead and I'll take it out, and we'll get back to my little workspace over here. What I'm going to do at that point is I'm going to roll them out into segments, and eventually we're going to make the pretzel shape with that twist. If I can figure it out. It shouldn't be too hard, obviously. Right? Take the two ends, make a loop, and then twist them in the middle and stick them to the bottom. I think we'll be just fine. Now I'm supposed to have about 36-inch rope of dough when that's all said and done. And hopefully it won't turn out quite so bad. Start using the baking powder. So I've got my bowl and everything kind of already prepared for it. I'm using the biggest glass bowl I got, because what I need to do is I need to dunk all of those pretzels into the baking soda mixture prior to baking them. And then we can use some of our, what's the word I'm looking for, some of our butter to cover them once they've been baked. Now they'll only be in there for about 8 minutes because we don't want them to turn into regular pretzels. But the idea today is to make soft pretzels. So hopefully that won't be too terrible. Now, I'm at the same problem as I always am when I'm cooking, because I would have liked to have tried to make two things today. Now I did. I made my cookies earlier. I would have loved to have done them on stream, but there's two problems with that. The first of which is the amount of time it takes to make the cookies versus the pretzels. That just didn't add up. The temperature didn't add up. And I guess there's three things, honestly. I can't count today. The last thing is I want to try to just keep doing recipes on stream that I haven't done before. So chocolate chip cookies, I've already made those on stream a couple weeks ago. Actually, those are on YouTube, so that video is all on YouTube. All of my cooking streams I eventually upload. I have a friend of mine who is working on making a logo for me. I fully intend to get an apron when I do all this because I know I make a mess. So we're gonna go from there. I'm gonna start cleaning some of my stuff up here. I can put my flour back together. I can actually get my sugar put away as well. So my kitchen is not totally a mess, but at the same time I kind of just, I got boxes of crap all up there that I need to get put away and find a space for. So if anybody has any questions about what we've done so far today, or anything that I plan to do in the future, I know maybe I should wait until Cosmic Rubio comes back, and then I can explain a little bit more about the National Food Days, because I'm planning on doing all of the foods on Sundays for this month. So there's some stuff that I'm going to have to learn how to do that I've never done before. Now, I made bread once before when I was in high school. I made French bread because I was like, oh, French class, let's do baguettes, because there's nothing quite like that. I spent the entire day on a Sunday making bread, and I made 2 loaves of bread. It took me an entire day to make 2 loaves of bread. And I have to say, it turned out pretty good, honestly. I didn't think it was bad. I had some help, obviously. I was still at my parents' house doing all that crap. So that's just how that all went. But that just reminds me, I had a friend of mine, though, too, in that French class. and he had made French onion soup, sweet onion soup, and it did not turn out well at all. And we were supposed to try everything. So we sat there and we tried to eat this soup, and we couldn't eat the soup without bread. So the bread didn't last the whole meal. That sucker went the first course. That soup just, it was either too sweet or, I don't know. It did not turn out that well for the young man. You know, and he helped me out plenty in that class, and I've always been very appreciative of that. But we went through that bread pretty darn quick. But that was the last time that I'd made bread, and that was 8 years ago. Oh God, it hasn't been 10 years, which is fine, because I feel older and older every time I think about it, and I shouldn't, because I'm not that old, dang it. But here I ramble and I tell dad jokes and bad jokes and just it's the crap that makes me giggle more than anything that I can enjoy. So I just heard a bunch of good ones here earlier, but I'd have to check my phone, and I don't want to get all up on my phone and completely block out everybody else's view of what we got going on. So before I forget, we've got 28 minutes left on the baking soda, and I don't know if that's risen at all. Remove baking soda, cover with plastic, let sit for 45 minutes to an hour. So I might have put too much flour on it when I was kneading it. See, that's the thing about my cooking streams, is I'm an amateur cook, and I should have been learning all through college what I was doing. Bread is hard. Josie, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Especially baguettes. With regards to hard bread. I shouldn't make jokes like that, but hey. Been there, done that. Groovy pal, perfect. So I've just got to drag out everything now, because there's not much else going on right now. You silly. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you check the Discord or check Twitter or whatnot. Today's National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. So I made some cookies. I just wish I could send them to everybody. Or have made enough, because I wonder what it would be like to have to make just a constant stream of that. Well, not stream the entire day of it, but I mean to just do supply demand on that kind of thing. I don't think I'd want to even do a bakery kind of idea. I know there's one in the town that I just moved out of that, I don't know. You just woke up? Well, nice to see you awake. Made it another day, so can't complain about that. Not ever. It's about 25 more minutes on that, and I think we've got a ways to go on the bread. Or, well, not bread, well, just the dough in general, but I guess it's the same thing presently. I may have used way too much flour, now that I think about it. Should have dusted some of that off, but we'll see. It's all a learning experience for me, and just something that kind of is a little bit interesting just to try. It's a work in progress. Preheat oven 450, line sheet with parchment paper. That'll be my next step once that's done. This will obviously be done before the bread, so we can go from there. I keep seeing the reflection of people's vehicles drive by in my refrigerator. And it just makes me want to turn around and stare out the window at some point. Hopefully everything's working just fine otherwise. I still haven't figured out my internet situation. The other day, my desktop computer was only getting like 9 down and 9 up, and I'm paying for 75 down and 20 up, or something to that effect. Did some finagling with the box, and I managed to get my speeds back. Still haven't been able to figure out how to get anybody else's wired connection to work, though. So, I'm a little confused. A couple other things I've been working on around here today. Still a lot of unpacking to do. I've been here for 2 weeks. 3 weeks? 3? Yeah, 3. So, the boxes can suck sometimes. Yeah, there's a whole room that's untouched. It's just littered with boxes that's going to have to be gone through. And worst part is, it's a buddy of mine, his stuff that's got to go in there. I think he's got a lot of tobacco that we need to get moved around, as well as one of the boxes contains all of our Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So, eventually, if I can figure out how to... I might just take the laptop down there for that and hook it up to the router in the basement for when we do D&D. That way we can read comments and use OBS and everything like that. It should be pretty fun. I know there's a lot of people that stream that using Roll20 or Tabletop Simulator, and me and the guys have tried that, and it's just not efficient for us. So I figured just setting the laptop down with the camera open might be a better option. If and when we decide to get back into D&D. It's been a long while. So, I don't have enough information. I'd offer to tell jokes, but the ones that I know off the top of my head aren't that great. So, trying to think if there's anything else topic-wise. Hang on a second. That's hot stuff. Very hot. No, the bread's definitely rising. So we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. I don't know if anybody's got any interesting TV shows or whatnot that anybody's been watching. I know I have yet to start the 3rd season of Stranger Things on Netflix. I look forward to doing that. I still haven't seen the last season of Game of Thrones. It's on my docket. I plan to watch it here this weekend. This next weekend, obviously not Sunday. And I'll mow the lawn here in a couple days, though, too. Just to make sure that doesn't get overgrown. Adulting! Yay! Finally! More so than I was before. I'm waiting to hear back from a couple of people. I sent out some applications to hopefully get into what I went to school for. As it sits, I'm not doing anything with that. I'm also working on getting some curtains, so this is not an issue anymore. I ought to find something to put up there at the very least. Hang on one second. What is this? It's a bed sheet. That's not what we can put up there. Yeah, no, we're just going to have to deal without it. I don't have anything to put up there. I could put a garbage bag, but that just look tacky as hell. So, I don't know quite much else what we're working on here. Take a look at this guy quick. can't tell if that's doing anything to it or not. I really don't know. From eating some pupusas, oh man, I'm jealous. I can't get anywhere I'm at right now. I have to go all the way back to the other town to do that. Maybe that's something I should figure out how to make. Not a bad idea. I'm trying to figure out if that was going to help out at all. Let me see something quick. Nope, too dark. Wait a minute. Nope. Well, that's fun. What even is this? I will get something figured out with this whole situation, because what I eventually want to do is I want to get like some cameras put up so that it'll show what I've got going on with the oven, or a camera that points towards, you know, the counter where I'm working, as opposed to just using my phone and scooping it up and shaking it all over the place. So we'll eventually get that going. We got 17 minutes left on the baking soda. And I'd like to think getting kind of close on the, well, we probably got about 30 more minutes on the dough. So we'll just kind of keep it from there. Give me a second, I'm going to get some of this stuff put away. My sugar. Flour. Alright. Snoozing. Uh, 16 minutes. You haven't slept in 2 days. What the heck? Why not? I can't go. Yeah, I can't do that. The last time I did that was a little over a year ago. And those were dark days. I highly agree. You need as much as, what is it, somewhere between 6 to 8 hours, I think, is appropriate for most individuals. Some nights I only get 5, but that's like, I'll make up for it. Even people from Italy. Ah, well, it's great that you're supporting streamers. But man, there's a limit, you know. Like, sleep is very important. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw that out there. Not that I'm gonna preach it like crazy, but you know, so tree fitty. There you go. Time is just going by ever so slowly for these few things we've got going on here, so we're just kind of entertaining for the time being. I just realized I got something sitting on my counter that I shouldn't. That just reminds me that I need to go clean those at some point here. Only source of caffeine I have is Coca-Cola. You know, I've been a big fan of Coca-Cola for like ever. It's been 15 or so years. I much prefer Coke over Pepsi. A lot of people call me insane for that. It's like, do you know what that does to you? And it's like, yeah, do you know what your body does to everything else? So, I don't know. I keep dipping in and out of here. Am I having too much fun with that? Just kind of like fading. Sprite's not a bad drink either. Nah. I keep wanting to go over and grab that cookie off the counter and eat it, but I know better than to do that in front of everybody, so it's just like, man. No, I'm looking forward to getting these pretzels made. So, I should have kneaded it in a bowl. Kneading, folding. It's something I need to learn how to do a little bit better with regards to cooking. So, Rubio, now that you're back, I remember what we were talking about earlier, you know, the whole National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. Well, there's actually a holiday every day of the year with regards to, like, food and drink. So, Kyle Schwarber hits a home run. Woohoo! Good news for me. Wait, is encoding? Oh, well, that's not so bad. No, so ate some pretzels with peanut butter in them last night. Those are pretty good. I finally got an idea as to what I'm going to be doing for my cooking streams every Sunday. I looked up a list. Unfortunately, I left it in my pocket on my jeans, and I just realized that because I put them all through the wash. So I'll have to look it back up. But today, like I said, was National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. Next Sunday, I think it's paninis. So I'm going to make a panini. And then there's a whiskey sour day. Yeah, every single day of the year there's some kind of national something or other. So, it'll be interesting to see. I'm only picking the recipes that fall on Sundays because it coincides with the streams. But maybe, like I said, whiskey sour day. I might do something else because I don't want to sit here and drink for 2 hours on stream. It's just like bleh. I've never had one and I've never made one, and I'm interested to see how it turns out. Now, I'm also going to do the same thing for September, and you know what? The September 22nd, which is the Sunday, I will not be streaming. I will not be streaming on the Friday either, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, because I am going to spend the entire weekend at a barbecue fest. I shouldn't even say that because it kind of gives me away. Anyway, big events, local, my kind of stuff. I love it. Food is just amazing. So I'm going to spend the entire weekend throwing money at vendors to get food. It'll be fun. I'm going to have fun. Alright, so we got 10 minutes left on the baking soda. However much time left on this guy here. I mean, can't tell me that doesn't look like it's gotten bigger. It's definitely risen more. So, I feel like I need to grab a bottle of water out of the fridge, but if I do that, it's gonna tip you guys the other way, which will just point you straight out my window and you can see my pickup. So we're not doing that. Your birthday is September 14th. It's pretty close. Yeah, it is. Mine's the 23rd. Oh yeah, you know what? I am taking the 23rd off, mostly to recover from eating and overeating at the barbecue. But what I might do is I might do like an all-day stream maybe, I don't know, a lack of interest, more of an interest. I want to see and maybe kind of put feelers out and see what that might bring. Is everybody in here born in September? It's awesome, great month, right? So, no, I feel like that'd be kind of fun to do a birthday stream. Now, whether I, make my own cake for the start of it, and then work my way back upstairs to the PC to play some games, it might be the best way to go about it. So, in all honesty, most of my family, we have birthdays in September. My sister, my mother, and I all have birthdays in September. Theirs are all before mine, so we do that, in order there. Other than that, yeah, I don't remember when Dad's is. 9/19/19. Nah, it's gonna be sweet. So, anybody just joining in, I'm gonna go ahead and like I said, we're still waiting on everything to get my baking soda done and my bread. Holy crap, that's definitely risen. So, once that's done, cut it up into strips, roll it on out, and I went and I specifically bought a pair of shears for today. So I'm going to use these for cutting dough and for all my cooking going forward here. Pretty excited. I kind of get too excited and have a lot of fun when I'm doing this kind of stuff. Hang on one second. I'm going to get some of the stuff moved around here. Put these out in the other room. These 2 plates. Debating what to do with one of them. I know I put enough cookies for my coworkers, so we're gonna have to just see. How old are you gonna be? Are you asking me? I think I may have already played that game. Not sure or not. So, that's the case. If you're curious about my age, tell you what, you'll be 28. Was that an old man emoji? You know what? I did something funny for my 20th birthday. I was in college. I decided to come home. They had a parade for some reason or another close to my birthday. And for my 20th, I went and I took some white hair dye, or maybe it wasn't hair dye, so just some spray and stuff, right? And I sprayed my hair white, and I put on a pair of Groucho glasses, and I sat in the back of a pickup during this parade, and I shouted at kids, and I thought that was just the funniest shit ever, right? Just pretending, oh, happy birthday, old man, right? And I went back to college, and my roommate was like, hey man, it's your birthday, let's go bowling. So we went to the bowling alley, and we get up there, and as I'm walking on the approach, I get my swing going, and my back gives out, and I crumple to the floor, and I'm like, oh my God, I did this to myself. So we left the bowling alley immediately after we both dropped, and we hobbled over to Walmart and bought some icy hot packages. So, redacted. So it was kind of an interesting little turnout. It sucked. It really hurt. It was not a pleasant experience, nor was it something I expected when I turned 20 to have my back give out on me. But that was years ago, so I don't joke around about that anymore. But then I look at the young individuals that attend the place where I work, and I think, man, I'm 10 years older than the youngest ones out there. So I feel old, I act old, I got these it bugs me. So now we got 4 minutes on our baking soda. The dough is rising. I haven't melted any more butter. And we'll just see. Once this is all done, remove baking soda from oven. Set aside. Preheat oven, 450 degrees. Line a sheet with parchment paper. Those are our next steps towards making our sweet, sweet, soft pretzels. They'll ban you. Ooh. You can't say because it's under 13. Woo! Now hang on a second. Yeah, you know what? I won't raise that question because I know I was like, Do you think I'd get more people on just because, like, if I did a non-mature stream? I mean, but that's the thing is I might say something somebody might find offensive, if only because it's like a personal belief of mine. But why I care is beyond me. So I guess I don't know. I want to try to not irritate people if I can. I guess is the idea. And I curse a lot. I try not to as much as I'd prefer not to swear. I can only not swear while I'm at work because it's more of a professional setting, and I guess I'm trying to make it more of a professional setting as well. Be yourself, I say. All right, fuck it. Oh no. So we're just waiting on this. So 2 minutes. We're getting down to the wire here. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna move the camera. And all right. Oops, I didn't want to open it that far. All right. So basically, and it's crooked, I understand that. Part of me feels like it's still slowly leaning, which isn't quite right. So once this is done, what I need to do is not walk away from the camera. No. What I need to do is just set it over here on the counter, out of the way. That way I can start doing my, what's the word I'm looking for? So start putting my saran wrap. Smart advice from Two Gun. Yeah, no, not so much smart. Interesting, maybe. All right, so we got 30 seconds left on this. Now, I'm not supposed to breathe it, because obviously that's very dangerous. That dough is definitely rising. So our baked baking soda is what we've got in here. Come on. All right. So there's not much of a difference with the way it is now and what it once was. I'm just going to set this on the counter here. I stuck my thumb in it. That dough was definitely rising. Yep. Alright. Now, we're going to go ahead and crank this up to the desired temperature that my little list over here says. We need 450 degrees. We overshot it. Alright, so now we're working our way up to 450 degrees. It's up to 260 now from the 200, so it's definitely gone up. And we need our parchment paper. Where did I leave my parchment paper? It's right here. All right. Good. We've got that done. Well, you can't tell me that that hasn't risen, like, significantly. Because, okay, it started here, and it slowly dragged its way across the top, which is just fine. Alice would definitely be proud. I'd like to think so. What about this? About this? Yes, about this, not this. This, the parchment paper. Because I'm a dingbat, and I should have been doing this from the very beginning, and I never did. And now that I'm aware, and I'm working on everything, everything's going to turn out just fine. We're good. Golden, in fact. It is phenomenal. I wonder what that even did to this. Dried it out? So, now that that's done, I can go ahead and we can get this moved back over this way in line with our it tipped over. Yeah, in line with the workspace that I have allotted. And I think you can, for the most part, see everything that we need to see here. So we've got a little bit of time left on the dough before I can start pulling it and rolling it out into 36-inch ropes, and we can start making pretzels with it. Once that's done, what the baking soda was for is for a dip. So we're going to put the baking soda in a great big old bowl with hello? Alright, I'm going to switch my recipe around here now. Alright, place parchment paper on. Cut dough on paper into strips 1/2 inch wide and 1 inch long. Stretch and roll into ropes. Shape ropes into pretzel. Pull 3 cups hot water into large bowl. Whisk in baking soda until dissolved. Briefly dip each pretzel and place on a sheet, sprinkling salt. The gray big old bowl actually is glass. Ah! Whoops. Yeah, so here's my big old bowl. Good size. About the same as... Yeah, about the same size. So... It's going to be a bit of a trick now that I think about it, because what I should do is I should take all that baking soda and like put it into a smaller bowl. What I ought to do is I think I should clean this off, some new parchment paper down, dispose of this flour that's in here, and go from there. I don't know if I'm supposed to put any extra flour on it or not. So stretch and roll into long ropes, 36 inches. So, I don't know. I feel like getting my tape measure out and putting that in there. I love a bowl like that full of ramen. That would be kind of nice. And so one of the other things I've done in the past is... I got a small rice cooker when I was in college. So some of the things I've made in college, I frown upon. Some of the things I'm really excited about. So I would take ramen, and I always cook 2 packs. So it's like 4 servings of ramen, and I would make it in a pot. Well, I had a rice cooker in college too, and I'd make a small cup and a half of rice, and I'd throw the rice in the bowl, and then I'd put the ramen over top of it, and I'd have it that way. A few other things that I've done, I'd take a bowl of rice, and I'll throw macaroni and cheese on top of that. And then sometimes I'd mix in like a can of chicken or something like that. So every now and again it wouldn't be too terrible. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. And get a new sheet. Just so that I can get this crinkly sound going. Maybe if we whisper, people might think something's crazy's going on. Who knows? Nah, I I wouldn't do ASMR. Unless I just did ASMR when I threw that away. The mercy wings on the pasta. That's great. Parchment paper is actually pretty darn cheap, so I'm not like afraid of using it here. Okay, so there's our new, the pasta overlord. Now, weren't we talking about a spaghetti monster, flying spaghetti monster? The other day it was, right? I think so. Was that was when I was doing my lasagna, I feel like. Give me 1 second here. Hey Google, how much time's left on the timer?
You've got 4 minutes and 6 seconds left.
Don't you flare up at me, little miss. My beta fish is giving me attitude. I love her to death, but she just kind of sits there and swims around all day, which is fine. Pastafarian, right? No, who was I talking to about that? I think it might have been a buddy of mine. We were talking about it. Somebody was talking to me about it. Oh, that's right. It was Hayabusa, or was it potato? Ah, I don't remember now. I do not recall. But it was very interesting to go through that whole idea. And I've made spaghetti and meatballs the other, like prior to all that. The one that worships a giant spaghetti monster, yeah. Alright. So, we got just a couple more minutes. What we'll do is we'll wait, and then we can get this. Alright, well, the oven's preheated. It's good to know. Once we get these made and rolled out and turned into our little pretzels, and we get our dip going, we should be alright. Come on, Google, give me a hint. We'll see. We're just about there, so we're getting close to the home stretch, which I'm glad to see, honestly. I can't wait to see how these turn out. I have a buddy of mine who really wanted to get a couple of these. Sadly, he's not here right now, so he might be SOL. Dip. Yeah. Two things when I think of dip. First of which is Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Honestly, the dip. And then the second thing would be chew tobacco. But honestly, the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of dip is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I watch that movie at least once a year. It's always on TV, or I find a copy of it somewhere. I absolutely love the movie. I think it's great. So, we'll just have to wait and see here. Alright, place parchment paper on a counter, pour dough onto paper, cut dough into strips. 1/2 inch wide by 8 inches long. Not quite a foot, which is perfect. So, just chugging along now, aren't we? I feel like grabbing my tape measure and just setting it on the counter and being a goof like that, but I'm not. So hopefully this will turn out well. I don't know how it'll do. I'm a little bit nervous, in all honesty, but we'll have to see how it goes. Alright. I don't know why that's there. I can take care of that here when I get a chance. And once we're done making these pretzels, I got a few other things I need to take care of here at the house. I look forward to doing that. That's our timer. Or, I don't know. See, that was 45 minutes. Think I should give it another 15? No. I'm done waiting, honestly. I'm going to go ahead and just... And it says to pour onto paper. Alright. We have our dough. It's not as... I think that's about right. So... I'm going to go ahead and cut this quick. I don't think I didn't cut that wide enough. I guess they don't have to be like... Let's see, 1.5 inches. I am just kind of like... Gonna pull these here just a second. So, I don't know if I'm gonna make them exactly to spec as what my recipe says, because if I didn't like... I didn't pull that one quite right. Looks really bad, this first one here. Little bitty pretzel I screwed up. Set that one off to the side. I probably should have put flour down. So, we're just kind of doing this the wrong way today. I'm doing it my way, just to kind of... I need to put flour down. I shouldn't have put that away. Alright, we're slowly but surely making our pretzels here. So, luckily none of you will have to worry about eating any of these. It's just going to be me and my buddies, and they're the only ones that are going to end up getting sick if I do this wrong. So, rip them, right? Alright. tell you what, those are slowly but surely. Okay. So I'm going to have enough for 6 of these. Hopefully. Set you back there. Ah. Definitely going about this the hard way, but you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Alright, so my first pretzel is a good base on the idea. I didn't quite get enough dough on there to make it look like an actual pretzel, so this one's going to kind of just be like a wash. So, loop. And twist. So there's more of the pretzel shape that we're going for there with the twist. I ain't near big enough, but I tell you. Well, they're not the jumbo ones either, that's the thing. Okay. Now, the more I've done these, the better off they're starting to look. Oof. Alright, so I've got my 6 pretzels made, right? Now the next step is to get that water going. So, I'm going to turn that on. I need 3 cups of hot water. Right? 3 cups of hot tap water. My tap water sucks, so this will be interesting. It's hot. That's 1 cup. Three cups. Okay. So, is it still hot? No, it's not. Okay. I'm going to get the camera moved again here quick. Alright. Now we're over here. So here's my hot water. Right? Tap hot water. I'm supposed to whisk in the baking powder. Now, my thing is, the baking powder is all on this frickin' sheet. So we're making my dip. Oh, that explains why it's slowly whisking. It turns to a friggin' solid. This was a bad experience. This is not at all what is supposed to happen. So I messed that up, but we're going forward with it anyway. So just half a second here. Put that there. I'm gonna dunk these guys quick. So they progressively get better. I'm supposed to set them in there for quite a while. It's just a dip thing, so we're just putting them in there ever so slightly. One at a time, pretty quick. So we can keep this process rolling. So this last pretzel looks more like an actual pretzel than the rest of them did. Okay, now that that's set, we can get this out of the way here. I'm just going to dump it. Wash my hands. Alright, so we dip them. Place in the sheet. Sprinkle salt, and we'll bake them for roughly 8 minutes. So I put a lot of salt on my stuff because I'm gross like that. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Now, that's hot! Eight minutes. Go. A message. Not seen it for a minute. Oh. You know what? It might be, Here, give me 1 second to see. Hang on. I'm going to stop it for just half a second and I'll be right back.